He's going to let us play a little bit.
He was in Madison, Wisconsin yesterday. His fourth straight day doing a game.
I wonder how many games a week those guys do.
It's crazy.
Justin Lemo was actually their captain.
Lee Mao.
Wow.
The North Carolina Central Eagles take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand and remove.
On the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we bring you an early season test for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. With wins in their first two games, the Deacons have a 3-0 start in sight. Standing in the way, the up-and-coming Eagles of North Carolina Central. Here at the Joel Coliseum in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Jeff Pozdelik's Deacons host Lavelle Moton's Eagles. Wake Forest trying to rebuild its program after a down year. NC Central thinking of a March Madness trip of its own. And we're thankful to have you with us here on the ACC Network on ESPN. Welcome back inside the Joel Coliseum, Wake Forest and NC Central. Great to have you with us. I'm Evan Leffler, pleased to be joined by former Demon Deacon great Randolph Childress. Last year, Jeff Pozdelik called the season the toughest of his 34 years in basketball. The Deacons are 2-0 to start this season, trying to get to 3-0 tonight. And Randolph, a big reason for the early season success. Two guys who have all ACC potential, Travis McKay and CJ Harris.
Both of those guys are key. They're very exciting players. They're both slashers. They're both excellent defenders. I think Wake needs both of those guys to continue to play well this season for us to be a competitive team. I think Travis is he's Mr. Do Everything. He's not great at any one aspect of the game right now, but he's very good at everything. I think CJ is the leader of this team offensively. I think he's the primary option. So we're going to need both of those guys tonight to be on their game and play and perform at a high level if we're going to expect to win.
Wake Forest 2 wins over Loyola and Georgia Southern to start the year. This NC Central team enters at 1-2, a tough loss by 4 points to Wagner the other night. But this is a team, a young team under Lavelle Moten that has a pretty good 1-2 punch of its own. Two guys with Big 12 roots, Dominique Sutton, a former Kansas State Wildcat, and Ray Willis, a former Oklahoma Sooner. And Jeff Bzdelic and his staff a little nervous about facing these two guys tonight.
Well, I think they should. I think one of the reasons why is the game in Yolola and the game against Georgia Southern, we were able to get out to early starts. I think those two teams were a little bit intimidated by our presence. I just think that now today, I think biggest problem we have tonight is that those guys have been on the big stage. They will not be intimidated tonight. They'll come in here and they expect to win this game. So we got to be ready to play.
And Dominique Sutton had visions of coming to Wake Forest. He'll have a little revenge on his mind.
Exactly. I think he's a Durham kid. He's local. He's excited about it. I think he's looking forward to getting this victory.
Wake Forest and NC Central, the starting lineups, a toss in the tap here in the Joel Coliseum. Coming up shortly, Sunday Night Hoops, Wake and NC Central on the ACC Network on ESPN. "15 straight years. Hot time has gotten the Joel Coliseum into a frenzy before tip-off, and we're underway. The third straight game that the Deacons win the toss. Wake Forest starting Chenault, Harris, Masharikoff, Mackay, and DeRozers. Same five starters for the first three games for Jeff Bzdelic. And NC Central with a change in the starting lineup. No Justin Lemau tonight, suspended for a violation of team rules. So Emmanuel Chapman is the point guard stepping in. Here's Chenault slashing to the basket and knocked out of bounds. Wake Forest will have it with 8 to shoot. Just underway here at the Joel Coliseum. Evan Lepler with Randolph Childress.
Yes, you watch tonight's game, you see Wake is emphasizing and cutting the screening tonight, and we're going to see if we can continue that on, even though we just turned it over here in the transition.
Willis to the basket, offensive foul. C.J. Harris takes the charge.
We're going to need a big game out of C.J. tonight. It's good that he's active defensively to start the game. We're going to need him to step in and take some charges, and we're going to need the big guys to get back. They're going to look to run and spend a lot of time tonight in transition. The guys are going to have to get back quickly on defense tonight.
Well, Wake Forest wins over Georgia Southern and Loyola. And you've talked to the coaching staff a little bit. Were they satisfied with the performance in those games? Foul on Chaston on the perimeter.
Well, I think they're just happy to win. I think right now when you have a team that struggled like this team did last year, they just want to come out and get some wins. And then once they win, you can go back and kind of edit the film and watch and show these guys their mistakes. But I think they'll take the win at this point.
There's Lavelle Moten, the third-year head coach at NC Central. One of the great shooters at NC Central during his playing days in the 90s. Masharikoff draws the foul on the perimeter. It's Dominique Sutton, and he's the guy to watch for NC Central. Sutton from Durham, went to Kansas State, and came back to North Carolina because he missed his family. He had 2 young daughters, wanted to be closer to his girlfriend. A surprising decision to leave Frank Martin's program, but now he's the leader of this NC Central team.
But I think tonight also, you can see he comes out, he's a little nervous as well. He wants to really perform. This is a big stage. Wake is a school he obviously wanted to go to when he's not there, but he's going to come out tonight. I look for him to be very aggressive.
And Travis Mackay, the Deacons' leading scorer, has his first 2 of the night.
Mr. Do Everything with backdoor cut.
42 points in the first 2 games of the year. He matched his career high with 23 on Wednesday night against the Georgia Southern Eagles. To the basket, Chaston. Shot wouldn't fall. And he keeps the possession alive with a fresh shot clock for the Eagles. And there's a little nervousness for Sutton. Lost the handle on the dribble. Chaston wide open.
I think Wake will give him that shot all night long. I think they'll keep the bigs inside and cut off the penetration, allow Central's bigs to shoot anytime they want.
Mackay got it. 5-0. Mackay has all 5.
Yeah, Travis is going to be really aggressive. He knows he needs to score for us, so I won't be surprised. He'll look to score every time he touches it tonight.
NC Central 1-2, a very tight loss in Staten Island on Wednesday night to Wagner. 3 ball for Landon Clement. He's a very dangerous shooter, and he gets the Eagles on the board.
He's a great shooter. I think he's going to be the all-time NC Central three-point shooter when his career is all said and done.
Made 109 threes last year. That was his 7th of this season. Harris kicks it out, leaves Masharikov for 3.
Wake starting off to a good start tonight. We need that. Those guys are shooting the ball well, and they're coming out very aggressive and confident tonight.
And that's the first 3 of the year for Nikita Masharikov, the 5th-year senior transfer from Georgetown. Whistle foul away from the ball will go against C.J. Harris.
I think tonight Wake Forest is going to get any opportunity they want with the penetration and space. And if they space properly, I think they'll have an easy time of it getting open looks on the offensive end. And we just got to see how they're going to defend and how they're going to keep this intensity up for 40 minutes tonight.
Early 5-point lead for Wake Forest. The Eagles in red, the Deacons in white. This is Willis on the perimeter, native of Atlanta.
And he's a very skilled guy. I think he has the potential to play multiple positions. He can play the 1, 2, or 3.
Willis drives on Mackay. Nice little up fake, and he gets 2.
Yeah, he can put it on the floor, both hands. He's a really skilled player.
Willis averaging over 15 points per game so far this year for Lavelle Moton and the Eagles. Masharikov is 2 for 2.
2 for 2 from 3. Another pick and roll with Tony Chenault, and he pops off. He's wide open on the right wing.
The Belarusian has 6 points in the game's opening minutes.
Tony's very aggressive on the ball. I think he sets the tone very well for us on offense and defense.
Deacons match up man-to-man. Double team comes on the block with Sutton in possession. And the Eagles reset to the perimeter, and Willis walked.
Yeah, travel. It's a great trap, though. I think Wake wants to keep the ball out of the post and double. We're going to double the post, I think, every time someone touches in the post, no matter who touches it.
And you mentioned Landon Clement chasing the all-time three-point record. The guy he's chasing, his coach, Lavelle Moton, who hit 213 of them during his time.
I think the coach will be happy when he does. I think he'll need all of those.
Paramo Jawara has checked in for NC Central. Chaston went to the bench. Early substitution for the Eagles. Here's Chenault trying to keep the rhythm going. And he's wide right, the rebound for the Eagles. And here's Emmanuel Pubi Chapman starting for the first time as an Eagle. Offensive rebound for Jawara off the bench.
That's the one emphasis I know Coach Bestdelic will not be happy about. We have to rebound the basketball. That's been an Achilles heel for us. And we haven't out-rebounded an opponent in the first 2 games yet. So I think that's something he's been emphasizing all week.
Still 18 seconds. This is Jawara from Norway to the post. Sutton. Double team comes immediately again.
But they're going to double him every time he touches the ball in the post.
Shot clock's down to 4. Clement gives it off. Jawara need to shoot.
Rebound. Tony sets the tempo again. Good rebound.
Chenault draws the foul.
Shots.
Aggressive take by Tony Chenault and a good start for the Demon Deacons. Masharikov 2 for 2 from 3. And Wake Forest with an early 11-5 lead here at the Joel Coliseum.
Well, Wake came out of flag.
It's the third all-time meeting between Wake Forest and NC Central. The Deacons have won the previous two meetings, the season opener in 2008-2009, and a 17-point win the year prior. That 2008 game, Randolph, the second largest Wake Forest win ever here at the Joel Coliseum. And back to action, Chenault misses the first free throw.
Yeah, that's one thing Tony has struggled with so far this year, confidence-wise, shooting free throws. I think he needs to settle down, settle his nerves, stay on balance. I think he'll be fine.
Chenault drills one of two, and here comes Anthony Fields, a freshman originally from Detroit, to give Chenault a rest. And I know you've liked what you've seen from Fields so far.
A ton of energy. Anthony gives us a ton of energy. He's obviously very fast, he's very quick, but he's very aggressive defensively. He sets the tone. When Tony comes out, he keeps us going.
Clement left open, and he missed it short. Wake Forest basketball.
He rushed it a little bit. I think he saw Travis McKay running at him and tried to get it out of his hands a little quicker. Now Central comes out with the 1-2-1-1 press here, full court press. We want to keep the ball on his sides.
Trap comes, and McKay just flings it over the head of Clement.
Yeah, I think he's going to shoot right over that. His height, he definitely want to get the ball in his hands.
McKay picked up by Clement. Fields bounces it for McKay on the block.
As long as we move and cut, I think we'll give him trouble.
7 points from McKay in the first 5 minutes, 40 seconds of action tonight. Deacons have opened up a 9-point lead, and a perimeter foul will go against Daniel Green.
Daniel just checking it out of the timeout. I think it's his first foul. I think Daniel needs to be aggressive. I wouldn't worry. I don't think coach would be upset at all about that foul.
Harris right in the pocket of Clement on the catch. Willis drew some contact, brings it back out. Your officials tonight, Tim Nestor, Dwayne Gladden, and Tim Eversole, and that's an explosive move by Sutton.
It's a great strong move, nice crossover move from the top. This is the dangerous lineup for us right now with Central because they're going with the small lineup. They're much smaller and they're much quicker than us right now.
Sherikov spins to the basket, finds McKay. Extra pass for Fields, and he juggled the catch.
Wake's going to continue to pass the ball, move, and cut. They want as much motion as possible. Open the lane up.
And Anthony Fields will get to the free throw line. Anthony Fields spent 1 year of high school basketball here in Winston-Salem at Quality Education Academy, led the Fighting Pharaohs to a 26-4 record. My crack research tells me that Quality Education Academy, the only high school in America with a nickname of the Fighting Pharaohs. A little Egyptian flavor.
I wouldn't doubt you on that one. That's the first I've heard of it.
And Fields misses the front end of the free throw.
And this is something that's beginning to concern Coach Busdelic. He spends quite a bit of time with these guys shooting free throws, and so far this year we've struggled. Wake has struggled tremendously from the line.
1 of 2 for Fields.
And this is the lineup I told you, where Ray Willis would play some point guard for you.
Also into the game, a junior from Sewanee, Georgia, Yabuka Anyora. He's got the ball at the apex, leaves it for Sutton from 15 feet. And he shot it about 14.5 feet.
Yeah. Anthony's pushing
Fields finds Mackay for the finish.
Great push, great feed.
So athletic in transition.
I mean, he's missed to do everything again for Wick. I mean, I think that he scores in every way. He runs the break, he pulls up from 3, he slashes.
Mackay has 9 already. And the answer from Anyora off the bench. He connects on his 5th 3 of the season. And that's a careless turnover.
Yeah, you can't have the unforced errors. I think Coach won't be too happy about that, but I think those guys will continue to be aggressive. They just space the floor. I think they'll be fine. They need to continue to space the floor and penetrate.
Jeff Busdelic, obviously an accomplished head coach. 3 seasons at Colorado before coming to Wake, 2 seasons at Air Force. Before that, spent 16, 17 years in the NBA with 4 different organizations, the Bullets, the Knicks, the Heat, and the Nuggets. And he's had to relearn patience in a way, taking over here in Winston-Salem.
Well, I think he definitely has that. I mean, he's definitely a patient guy. He's teaching these kids.
And that's Anyora.
He's teaching these young men how to play the right way. I think there's a way to how to carry themselves, how to conduct themselves, and play like young men and honor this university and treat the university with a level of respect. So I think the group of kids we put out there right now, that Wake puts out on the floor, I think everyone is proud of that. As you can see right now, these guys are playing much harder and much more together than they did a year ago.
Foul went on Daniel Green. It's his 2nd. You can see not letting Anyora just waltz his way down the line with a little contest. And here's Chase Fisher entering the game for the first time, the sharpshooter from West Virginia, giving C.J. Harris a rest.
Yeah, well, Wake's got to pay attention now, and Daniel Green has picked up his 2nd foul.
And Anyora front rims the 2nd. Wake Forest by 6. And Fisher with his first touch. Finds Green, baseline drive. A little out of control. DeRozier's collects. Rejected from behind. And a whistle goes against Green, and that'll be number 3.
That'll be a 3. He'll have to come out of the game now. That's a concern for Coach Busdelic right now, because Wake doesn't have a lot of depth for bigs right now. I think he's going to end up having to put Travis Mackay at the 4. That's exactly what he does.
And here comes Tony Chenault. So you have the 6'2" Chenault replacing the 6'10" Green, and it was a nice rejection from behind by Willis.
And right now, Travis Mackay is playing your 4, so this might be a better matchup for us defensively.
Clement catch and shoot. And a strong rebound for Chenault. Running the floor, sets up Mackay.
Yeah, this is a great, I think this is our best, this is Wake Forest's best 5, the lineup we can put on the floor right now as far as scoring. I think when you put the 2 point guards in the game and Travis Mackay is your power forward, I think we can score with anybody at that point. I think Central will have a tough time with this lineup.
They call that last shot a 2-pointer for Mackay, so he has 11, and it's 19-11 Wake Forest. Foot on the line. Willis tries to retaliate, and a foot on the line, 2 for him.
Willis is a really talented guy. He's a really, really talented player. Transfer from Oklahoma.
Started a couple Big 12 conference games as a sophomore. Sat out last year after transferring to North Carolina Central. Fields.
Waker's back, spreading the floor out, keeping it wide. Bad turnover. Bad turnover by Anthony Fields.
Fields almost threw it right to Chris Hooks, the voice of the NC Central Eagles. Well, Travis Mackay has 11, and Wake Forest with an early 6-point lead here at the Joel. Mackay doing it in the air. Wake Forest up by 6, 7 for 10 from the floor, and perhaps a little concerning that it's only a 6-point lead for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, I think they're going to come out. They got to continue to be aggressive. But I think the three-point shooting of North Carolina Central has kept them in the game.
This might be number 2 on C.J. Harris, and it is.
Well, that's one of our dynamic 2 guys. We can't have, Wake Forest cannot have C.J. on the bench. He needs to be in the game, and he needs to be aggressive for us.
C.J. Harris, one of the captains of this team. Not even 21 years old yet. He'll turn 21 in February, but he has been thrust into a position of leadership, and luckily for Jeff Bzdelek, he seems like he's perfectly suited for that role.
He definitely has the personality to take on more responsibility. He just needs to continue to be aggressive and assert himself each game.
Chenault dangerous in the open court. Tried to set up Fisher, but nice transition defense from the Eagles. Here's DeRozier's with his back to the bucket. Chenault steps into a jumper, and the rebound for Jawara. Willis is so lanky and gets 2 more.
Yeah, he's a very talented player. Again, he's a multi-skilled guy. He can penetrate, he can shoot it, he can handle it. He's a tough matchup.
And the Eagles back within 4 as we cross over the midway point of the first half. Masharikov from 17 feet, and his first miss of the night.
Willis with another rebound.
Before that shot, Masharikov and Mackay were combined 7 for 7. And Jawara back rims a 3. Fisher skies all alone for the rebound. Chenault the penetration, and Willis got a piece. Numbers for the Eagles left to right. Nice pass from Clements, and a traveling violation on Sutton.
I think Makarikov got away with one on that one. I thought he fell on top of Sutton and pushed him a little bit, but I think Wake Forest will be happy with the call.
Certainly some content as we get another look at Lavelle Moten. And we see this nice feed to the post. Certainly some contact there. Referee said play on until Sutton took the extra step.
I like the idea of Coach keeping CJ in the game even with 2 fouls. I think he realizes he needs to get CJ going a little bit.
5 on the perimeter right now for the Deeks, which opens up the middle. And everything but the bucket for Nikita Masharikov. It'll be Eagle basketball. Lavelle Moten in his first year at NC Central went 7 and 24, very similar record to Wake Forest last year. But last year the Eagles went 15 and 15, 10 and 5 versus MEAC opponents. They were picked 5th in the preseason MEAC poll, and this is the first year that the Eagles of NC Central are eligible for both the conference tournament and possible NCAA berth.
I think this team will do a lot better than they did last year. There's definitely some skilled players, and that guy's one of them.
And Willis gets the Eagles within 1 at 19-18. 9 for Willis. Each team has made 3 3-pointers.
Both teams have come out shooting the ball well tonight.
Harris splits the defenders. Elbow jumper won't go for him.
Wake has gotten away from passing and moving and cutting the basketball. They're holding on to it. They're dribbling. They're playing a little bit too much one-on-one right now, and I don't think Coach will be too happy with that.
Chenault picks up the personal. Jeff Bzdelek with sort of a sour look on his face as the Eagles have surged back within a point.
I think one thing Wake Forest has to be concerned about right now is that they don't have enough bodies for the fouls. And I think that's Tony has 2 now, and I think he's coming in with Anthony, and I think he wanted to leave Tony out there. Tony sets the tone offensively and defensively for us right now.
Well, it's an incredibly tough reality of Jeff Bzdelek's situation. He starts 5 players. His 3 scholarship players off the bench are all freshmen, and then you're getting into the walk-ons.
Yeah, and he may be forced, if the fouls continue to pile up, he may be forced to play those walk-ons.
Ty Walker will provide some depth when he returns from his suspension for the 2nd semester. Jawara looked like he traveled.
I think it's a travel.
Tim Nestor on top of it, and the Deacons will take over on NC Central's 4th turnover. Anthony Fields to run the point out there with Harris, Fisher, Mackay, and Masharikov. Fisher with a nice up fake, leaves it for Nikita Masharikov.
There's another 3. Great decision by Chase Fisher. Very unselfish play.
Willis to the basket, draws another foul. I think they're going to wave off the bucket on the continuation.
Willis is going to be a tough matchup with us for his size.
Foul went on Anthony Fields, and Ray Willis creating the contact. He has 9 points, and the Deacons' lead is only 3. Our 3 officials for tonight's action: Tim Nestor, Dwayne Gladden, and Tim Ebersole. Wake Forest fans may recognize Gladden, the man on the right. He refereed the opening game against Loyola. Evan Leffler alongside Randolph Childress here at the Joel Coliseum. Wake with a slim 3-point lead. And Ray Willis for NC Central, the chance to cut into that lead a little bit more. At the free throw line, a 71% free throw shooter, and he gets the first to go. He's got 2 of them. Everybody thought it was just 1. Double figures already for Willis.
Yeah, Willis is off to a great start. I mean, he has a jump shot going. He's going to the basket, finishing strong. He's got to get to the free throw line. He's definitely on his game this first half. Now they're picking up the pressure.
Harris with 2 fouls back out there. Mackay finds Fields. Masharikoff up ahead, and not a smart pass.
No, it was a bad decision by Anthony.
Sutton with the interception. He's a very strong defensive player. Was the defensive backbone of that Elite 8 Kansas State team that had Clemente and Pullen for Frank Martin a couple of years ago. One of the most memorable games of the NCAA tournament that year as Clement missed the layup and the tip-in for Chaston.
Yeah, it's a great backdoor cut, great back screen.
22-21, the Eagles lead for the first time. Fields bounces from Masharikoff. Offensive foul.
Wake's a little rattled right now. This is concerning for Coach Besdelic right now. I think he wants them to settle down. He wants to settle the team down right now. So I'm curious to see how long he'll let these guys go on before he gets Chenault back in the game. That's the only thing about Anthony Fields right now is where he's a freshman. He has great speed, but I don't think everyone can play at that speed.
Dominic Sutton clearly set the feet. Great positioning, good call. Willis runs the point. Chapman picked up 2 quick fouls, and NC Central without their starting point guard, the USF transfer Justin Lemau, suspended for tonight's game. Offensive foul the other way as C.J. Harris, daring play with 2 fouls. draws the charge from Sutton.
I think Coach Besdelik's happy about that one.
Right on the outskirts of that restricted area,
that
too.
That was close. But he was definitely there. He had his feet together. He was there.
Well, that is number 2 on Dominique Sutton.
Yeah, I think the first foul he received was just bad nerves. And now you can't waste fouls. There's one common rule every coach agrees upon.
Sutton sits down with 6:34 to go. And a bumping foul on the perimeter called on the Eagles.
CJ has a great knack for drawing fouls. I think he'll definitely get plenty of free throw attempts this year.
Foul called on the Norwegian Karamo Jawara, who spent some time at Queen City Prep in Charlotte. Member of the Norwegian national team. And here's Calvin Harris Jr., better known as CJ. And the free throw struggles continue. Wake's 2 for 5, and there's a miss on the front end of the 1-and-1.
Yeah, so that almost counts as 2 when you miss the front end of those 1-and-1s. And CJ, I mean, he's a great free throw shooter. So for him to miss the front end, it's surprising. But this year he's off to a slow start.
He had one of the greatest free throw shooting seasons in program history as a freshman, bettered only by Chris Paul. And this will stay with the Eagles, according to Tim Ebersole. This is Jawara trying to back down Masharikov, finds Clement, tough shot.
Tough fadeaway, good defense.
Masharikov pulls down the rebound and leads the charge. Sets up Fisher for 3.
Good shot. Chase Fisher needs that. He needs an open look. He needs to get his confidence going. Wake's going to need him to get some open look to knock down some threes tonight for us.
Over 2,200 points in his high school career, the 10th most in the history of West Virginia basketball. He can flat out score, and the Deacons back on top by 2.
I don't think the Deacons will need him. I think his ability to explode one of these games will be evident.
Chaston into the lane. Now Jawara slash, back for Chaston, the lefty flick. Second chance right on the doorstep, he missed it. A third try.
That's the concerning, again, that's the one weakness Wake has right now is the defensive rebounding.
Fisher to the rack with the up and under lefty finish. Ties it, gives Wake Forest a 2-point lead.
That's a good sign for Wake. The chase is out. He's scored the last 5 points. He's getting active on the offensive end, becoming a little bit more aggressive.
Chaston thought about the 3. Here's Clement to take it. Another offensive rebound for Chaston, and 2 more by the rim.
Another offensive rebound. Again, Wake has to do a better job of controlling the offensive glass.
Well, Wake Forest knows they're in a battle right now. Tied 26-26. NC Central counter-punching like an equal.
But we knew coming in they were not going to be afraid. You know, they have guys who've played on the big stage before. So we knew coming out tonight they were going to be here. They were not going to go away early.
Fisher to create. Nice
Great
pass.
pass.
Masharikov and the foul. Fisher distributes and Masharikov gets 2 more.
He's been practicing really, really well. I think it's just a matter of time before he begins to come out of his shell and be a little bit more aggressive.
Masharikov looked a little surprised the pass was coming his way.
I think he was going for the offensive rebound and just saw it out of the corner of his eye, but it's a great play.
Masharikov, in his second year with the Wake Forest program, has a career high of 13 points. That was against Boston College in the ACC tournament last year. Masharikov has a dozen here in the first half tonight.
I think he'll definitely have a better year this year. I think you'll see he'll surpass that numerous times. He's a great shooter, and I think you'll see him knocking down threes, and he has the ability to put it on the floor. So I expect him to I think he'll average double figures this year for Wake.
DeRozier's replaces Masharikov. Some light full court pressure, and now the Deacons back off as Willis brings it up for the Eagles.
Wake's beginning to extend their pressure a little bit.
Willis has a size advantage. Clement tees it up and buries it.
He has a great stroke. He comes off, he doesn't hesitate and lets it go.
Just like that, we're tied again, 29 apiece, under 4 to go here in the first half. Chenal creates for Mackay. He missed the layup, and the rebound for David Best. Best, the latest Eagle off the bench, the junior from Raleigh and Sanderson High School, where Lavelle Moten coached before coming to NC Central. Mackay went for the steal and is called for the foul. The good news for Jeff Pozdelic is that it's only the first foul on Travis Mackay. But after a 7 for 10 start from the floor, the Deacons have cooled off a little bit. Chase Fisher's effort notwithstanding. 29 all here in the first at the Joel.